And we're live here with the Sell a House Wholesale Real Estate training number 125 on a beautiful new op day, June 8th, 2018. No, I better make that a 15. Nope, I'm not ready to jump that far into the future. But that's probably sort of what we're going to be talking about here today is the future, your future. And how the heck are you going to get there? And what's it going to be like when you get there? Because we just had a great little session on the other channel, and I think we're probably going to carry forth with that a little bit over here today, because there's some interesting stuff there. And we're probably also going to get back into a little bit more about what a strong session is, because although this is a brand new concept, a brand new idea, I think it's brilliant. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for dumping that on me one morning the other day. And and I think John's excited about getting it started, and we're implementing it as of today. We've actually already started sort of transitioning towards it, but it's full implementation as of today. New op day will be the strong session number 1 for us in 2015. Good morning, John.
Good day, Paul. What did you just say to me? How dare you? How dare you? No, you know what? I really like what we laid out here on the last 2 hangouts about approaching. I'll use the word one last time just to get people familiar that we're changing the terminology in which we lead our lives, because in doing so, we will change our mental outlook on everything. I'm convinced of it. But what you're going to hear us refer to sessions or strong sessions. We're referring to a week, what's commonly known as a week, but it is less commonly known as a strong session, which Paul and I are now on a mission to change that. Embolden yourself through the use of powerful, positive words of positive power. Very redundant there, but it's very important. So we laid out kind of a weekly system, which I will say I began implementing yesterday. And that was Celebration Day, where I just basically, I didn't think about work yesterday too much. Me and, Paul and I had maybe about a 30-minute conversation about today and kind of preparing ourselves, but that's okay. But I really shut it down yesterday, Paul, because I really wanted to enjoy the idea of, hey, it is Celebration Day. I'm starting a new system for my life, and I really got to have that one. Everybody has to have that one day a week where they can screw around, fuck off, and not feel bad about it, and rejuvenate themselves to go into a new session 100% committed to making the next 6 days of that session be full of actions and organization and preparedness and creativity, and really drive home the fact that, hey, you know what? I'm going to give up those things I really like. Maybe you're someone who likes to watch a little television. I'm not going to lie. I enjoy the Munsters lately, of all weird things. But I'm only going to watch a couple episodes of the Munsters on a Sunday. During the week, it's all business. It's all self-development. It's all personal development. It's all handling the important business that you have, meaning you're keeping your house clean, you're eating your food, you're eating your healthy foods, you're taking care of your bills. You've got errands to run, you're taking care of that, but you're also maintaining your business and yada, 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 so forth and so on. And I'm pretty excited about what Paul and I should say that really Paul kind of created, but he did say I was a big inspiration for that in my, and you know what? Paul and I are business partners, and there's something called the mastermind, and it's the mastermind that Paul and I have created through joining our forces that brought about Paul developing this whole new system. It didn't come out of just his mind, although he got it down to paper and got the idea into words. It was kind of the unspoken bond that happens when you create a relationship with someone in business. Say, if you listen to Napoleon Hill, it happens in a marriage, it happens in a friendship, but it happens when you have a common vision or a common goal. You kind of start to share almost a common central mind. It's a really crazy thing. And, I've been listening to this Napoleon Hill Law of Success, and the first 3 discs alone are all about the mastermind and how important it is to form mastermind alliances and this and that. And I'm very fortunate to have a mastermind alliance with Paul. And we certainly invite you guys to come to these hangouts and get involved. Reach out to us and start the conversation, because there's power in numbers and there's power in joining minds. And the reason I bring this up is just to, again, say what we've come up with here as a system for each day of the session is really quite powerful. And I'm really excited to see how productive this is going to make this week. I'm really looking forward to implementing this. So I'm going to toss it back over to you, Paul. If you wanted to expand a little bit and go back into it, or maybe you had some new content, I'm not sure. So I'm very excited to and open to what you were planning on discussing today.
Actually, I wanted to, you brought something up there about us, the power, the empowering words versus the disempowering words, and you and I sort of being on a mission to start a movement towards using more powerful words. And it's funny because just in the past week, just in the past few days of the past session here, I had been throwing a few things out there at people and getting some very interesting responses. For instance, I said to you, good morning, which is one of the things that we're eliminating, because there's, first of all, I don't believe any such thing as a good morning, whether good, bad, or indifferent. I don't want a morning, period. So one of the things that I've been saying to people when, because I mean, everybody in the world pretty much, or at least in this country, says good morning. And I've been responding to that with, no, thank you, but I'll take a good day or a good rising. And so, and it's funny, people will be like, what? And then, what are you talking about? And then I'll have to give an explanation that, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to start every day of my life in mourning. I will start with a good day or a good rising. Thank you very much. And they're like, and everybody that I say this to is like, oh, wow, I kind of like that, And so it's bringing a good reaction, Now, I mean, will somebody that you just randomly run across in the street that you throw that at, will they actually start doing it? Percentages are pretty low, but that's how, we're starting the movement, is with things like that. And another one that I was throwing at people just on Friday, which was really cool, was have a great weekend. People were telling me, have a great weekend, and same thing. I would be like, well, no, thank you, but I'll enjoy my pinnacle, or I'll enjoy my climax, or I'll enjoy my celebration, right? And when they say have a great weekend and you say no, thank you. The looks you get is just like, it's great, it's funny as heck. But then you say no thank you, but I'll have a great pinnacle. They're like, what are you talking about? And you're like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna bust my tail for 5 days so that I can have a week ending. And they're like, oh wow, I kind of like that, So it's getting a good response, and it's really entertaining and fun to be throwing this at people.
No, that sounds amazing, because what better way to kind of implement something than to have fun with it? So this is a fun way to get it programmed in your mind. And hey, who knows, you may be changing people's lives with something as simple as getting people to use more positive language. I was listening to Napoleon Hill's Law of Success this morning during my workout, and he brought up something about propaganda back in, he had written this series back in the 20s, and he brought about, they had done psychological studies after World War I. Obviously he wrote this prior to World War II, where they determined in the United States the negative effects of propaganda on the population, though they also noted about the ability to use propaganda to sway the masses to get people behind unpopular political decisions. Part of the propaganda is the use of things that instill fear and negativity in people. And actually in the time of Napoleon Hill's writings, in the 20s, Americans and the Congress really rejected the use of propaganda, especially after what was going on in Europe with World War I. This is prior to Hitler, but what was going on with Germans and how the Bolsheviks in Russia used propaganda to ignite those revolutions. And as we know, the communist revolution, as well as what happened in Germany during World War I, was really not good for the world. It propelled us into war. It propelled us into a Cold War that still, quite honestly, exists to this day. We're still fighting the Russians economically and, military strategically. And at the time in the 20s, what a great time I think it would have been to be alive. And if I would look at people like Napoleon Hill and people of that time, like George Orwell, looking at our society today and be just turning over in their graves about all the negative words and all the negative advertising and all the stuff used politically as weapons against people. Where literally words are for the use in politics, and it's admittedly so. And any advertiser, anybody in advertising will tell you, words are powerful and words will sway the masses. And what propaganda is, it's the weaponization of words. Using words to scare you, to persuade you to vote or agree with unpopular policies that go against common sense, policies that take away your freedoms. You really think about this stuff. And then think about the words we use just on a common daily basis, such as things as saying good morning to somebody, have a good weekend. Oh, I can't wait to start my new week. I mean, it's very disempowering, and I almost think it's quite intentional. I think my feeling is if you get to the upper echelon of people, I'm 100% convinced that they're fully aware of this. And if they are, why aren't people in positions of power implementing this into the school system, implementing this into their writing for television shows, implementing this into their propaganda? And take a look at political campaigns. 95% negative.
They're actually taking it out of the school systems, and they're taking it out of the media, and they're taking it out of all those things.
And what's funny to me is that, 70, 80 years ago, there was actually strong popular pressure from the masses against the use of propaganda to promote the military and to promote political agendas. What's happened in this country since then? They pretend that it's almost pretend like, news is news. If you don't, it's mind blowing to me how the average person can watch even anything on the news and not realize that it's nothing more than government propaganda for an agenda. And admittedly so, that's the funny part. And with the advent of the internet and the spread of information right now, do you realize how much information you still have access to? Empowering information that can better your life, information that can make you financially free in 3 years or less, information that can embolden you and make you stronger. Yet why are so many people, as Paul and I constantly discuss, falling into the category of not getting by? How do so many people not realize how negative they are? How do so many people not even have a money management system or any idea how to retire outside of believing that they're going to get a Social Security check, which is nothing, by the way, when they're done working for the next 40 years. It's propaganda. It's the language. We're being manipulated. Admittedly, propaganda is the weaponization of words. So Paul and I have our own propaganda, which is to empower people with words. The empowerment through words. That's my mission now. One of them.
The weaponization of power through words. And you touched upon it. That's another huge propaganda campaign that this country implemented years ago, which has been highly successful in converting this country from a country of savers into a country of spenders. And that in and of itself is the exact reason why, as you just said, nobody has squat today, because nobody understands what saving is all about, why it's important to save, how to save, what they're saving for, and And why save it all when I can just buy it on credit and pay interest money against it? You know, the conversion here, this tripped my mind out one day. I think I forget if this was at a Tuesday morning meeting or on a phone call or what, but or you and I on a hangout. I don't remember where this came from, but the fact of people saving money to have things. The idea of, in the old days, you would go to the department store and you could put things on layaway, which meant, hey, you can buy it today, it's yours, but you can't have it until it's paid for. We're going to hold it for you right here. You make us the payments, and then you can have it. And I don't remember if layaway had interest payments or not. I would imagine it probably had very minimal interest payments for them to hold your product for you, but it was very, very insignificant. And the fact of the matter has changed to, I mean, if you take that concept right there, it's a matter of savings. It's a savings account. Layaway was a sort of a savings account. Okay, instead of just putting your money into the bank, going, hey, it's going to take me 12 months, but then I can go buy that thing. I can actually get the excitement of going and buying it now, although I can't have it for 12 months until I actually get it paid off with my savings program. Instead of me putting the money into the bank, I'm just putting it directly into the sales. The salesperson here. And then the switch from that over to, well, why do I want to pay for 12 months before I get my product when I can just get it now and then I'll pay for 12 months while I'm using it?
I know. I want to point out something. There's a place called Rent to Own. You can get couches, TVs there, and you're renting to own televisions, couches, Xboxes, video game systems, what have you. And it's not like layaway, like Paul said. In fact, people would say when you put something on layaway, as Paul was pointing out, it's like, okay, you know what? I want this. I'm going to go put a down payment on it. I'm going to make payments to the store. And when I pay them in full, I get to take my product home. And most layaway is interest-free, by the way. So you're getting that product interest-free. But we've gone from people that respect money, and I have a theory about this, which I don't know if we'll have time to get into people who just use on credit. So now you have these rent-to-own places. And you know what blows my mind? When I was living in North Dakota, someone I was talking to, I worked at a hotel, had bought in a PlayStation on rent-to-own, okay? PlayStation at this time was $99. She was going to make 10 payments of $25 a month for 10 consecutive months so that she can walk into the rent-to-own and get a PlayStation on that day. She's paying, do you realize she just paid 150% more than what that PlayStation was actually worth if she could have bought it new? $250 she was more than happy to pay for a $100 item. And my thought is, have we gotten this far that say, hey, you know what? You really want that PlayStation. Why not say, you know what? I can only afford $25 a month, but rather than pay $250 a month, why don't I respect the power of money? Why don't I respect the, not necessarily the power of money, but the value of money, the value of what you're earning, and just put away $25 a month for 4 months and go buy that outright. People don't have that mentality anymore. And that's part of the reason I think that in the United States, where it is in such a terrible economic mess, really, although the economy, I'm not talking about the fact that the stock market's on the rise right now and T-bills are going up and the dollar is strong against the euro and real estate is going up. That's part of the economy. But the truth of the matter is, you look at people's economies, people's personal economies, and they're terrible because they've got terrible habits. And my theory on that basically is because money isn't money anymore. We have a fiat currency. There is no value to the money we have in our pockets. It is cash. It has power, yes. It will buy things, yes. But it's fictitious. It's paper. It's created out of thin air. It's created on, the amount deposited in a bank. We live in a society where credit is free. people don't have to work hard for things really, because it's like give me convenience or give me death society nowadays. You know, I want it now. I want it today. I don't want to work for it. I don't want to save for it. I don't want to prepare for it. I want it now, now, now. And look around you. Look to where it's got us. I mean, there's a lot of positive things about the ability to raise capital and to go out and spend and borrow on credit, but it's also extremely destructive. Look what credit did to the American middle class in the last 7 years. And if you think there is really American middle class anymore, think again, because all those people remodeling their houses, all those people out there buying homes and getting these equity lines of credits and buying boats, cars, they thought they were rich. We thought we were rich. We thought we had something we didn't. It was all a fiction. And when you live in a fictitious society with a fictitious money that can be created out of thin air that isn't sound or solid, it just creates a culture of overindulgence and of stupidity, really. So that, you know, that's kind of my feeling there. And it's like one of the things that I am hoping to do on these hangouts, and why I believe so strongly in real estate and things like network marketing and passive income, and I like to call myself the real wealth advocate, is because I want people to understand what real wealth is. It's not the money in your pocket. It's the power of what you do with the money. It's your ability to earn it. It's your ability to create passive streams of income. You know, information, good information, that's real wealth. You know, good habits, empowering words, that's real wealth. Gold, silver, real estate, that's real wealth. Even money in your bank account or money you have applied properly is real wealth. And it's about understanding all of that.
Yeah, taking it back to where we started with words, empowering words and propaganda, and what you just talked about there. You know, all of those things right there that you were talking about that is making this economy so good. The fact that the stock market is going up, the T-bills are going up, the dollar's strong against the euro, real estate's going up. All of this shit is another propaganda campaign. And the purpose behind this campaign is to get people's minds trained into going back to the old system, the old way, the way everything was before, in a new world that after the crash has completely changed. Everything is different, but yet we're being told, oh, it's all great now. Go back to what you were doing before so we can set you up for the next fleecing. Think about it. There will be another fleecing. There always is. You know, it's one consecutive fleecing after another. You have to, you know, feed the sheep the nice grass that they like, and then you take them down the mountain and you take them back down into the dry field and you shear off all that, you know, excess that they've gained. And then what do? And you go, hey guys, come on, let's go back up to the beautiful grass area. It's all just like it used to be before. Get fat, get sassy, and then we'll take you back down the mountain and we'll shear it all off again. And we'll make all the money from shearing it off of you because we're feeding you grass that's free, and we're going to bring down the sheep that shear you down here and make all the money off you. Wait. Sheeple? Is that where that phrase came from? I don't know why I use sheep. That just came out of my head there.
I'm going to do a screen share with you real quick here, Paul, because I want to show you a website that I think everybody should go and look at this thing and understand what is really going on here. It's called usdebtclock.org. Okay, you see my cursor right here? Do you see this number, U.S. national debt? This means credit, the amount of money being borrowed. Look how fast these numbers are turning right now. I'm pausing for about 10 seconds. Boom, the United States just borrowed another 100 grand. Hold on. Boom, the United States just borrowed another 100 grand. Look at that debt per citizen, and then that debt per taxpayer, and then the deficit, how this country's falling short, and the increase by 108% in government spending.
200,000.
Yeah, 200,000. Hey, wait a second. Let's just, in about 10 seconds, we will have just borrowed another $1 million. And now, if you look at this number here, here's the amount of debt, Here's the spending, $3.6 trillion government spending. The tax revenue is 3.18. There's a federal budget deficit of 490. Well, by the end of the day, this will be about $496 billion deficit in spending. And I just want someone to explain to me how this is good when we're spending more than we can generate, because we live in a culture that's what the average citizen is being taught to do, is spend like the government. Borrow money. You don't need to wait till you've earned enough money to buy that new car. You don't have to wait to earn enough money to retire. You can do it all right now. But just borrow it. Just borrow it. Just borrow it. Let's go back. Look at that. We've already spent $200,000 since we looked at this website. And guess what goes up? The debt per citizen, the debt per taxpayer, the deficit, constant increase. Look at these numbers down here. The largest items are Social Security, more so than defense and war. You always hear about how the United States spends so much on the military. It's not really where we're spending our money. It's on social welfare programs. But now I'm going to show you something here that's a little crazy, Paul. You see where the national debt is, right? 18 trillion.
Yeah.
You see what this number says right here? $947 trillion is what we need to come up with in order to cover Medicare. And look how fast this one's increasing. $310 trillion to cover Social Security. Look how fast this one's increasing, or income security. The new interest on this debt, $244 trillion. Federal pensions, $253 trillion. We only generate $3 trillion in tax revenue, which tax revenue is the income source of the U.S. government.
Yeah,
You tell me that everything is great. If you really look at that website and you understand what those numbers are, and if you have any mild sense of accounting or a budget in your own life, you tell me where this thing ends. You tell me where it goes.
To another fleecing.
To another fleecing. They're going to rob the shit out of us. It's inevitable. So you need to change your economy. You need to change the way you think. You need to get out there and figure out a way to create your own way and not fall into that trap, which 98% of people are in that same trap, borrowing and spending more and more every year than they actually really have. Actually, if you really consider what's going on there and you shut out the bullshit propaganda about what that is, it's actually terrifying.
Yeah, because that's where all the money's going. And like you said, there's more money going out than we're generating by so much. And where else can they get it besides the tax dollar? Where's the only other place that our government can get more money? How about directly out of the taxpayer, directly out of their pocket? That's what we're talking about here. So your propaganda of everything is wonderful, everything is great, go back to what you were doing, because the world's changed, but don't worry about that. We got that under control. You just go back to what you're doing and we'll take care of you. How many times have you freaking heard that in your lifetime already? And from your grandparents and from their grandparents and all the way back, how many times has that lie been passed down to us?
Yeah.
When are we going to stop believing it? Nothing.
Do you have a calculator by any chance?
Nothing is the same as it once was. Everything has changed, and you need to change too if you're going to have a chance in hell to keep up with it. Yes, I do. Go.
I'm going to say, what's 80.89 times 5.75? 0.89 times 5.75.
5.118.
5.118. Okay, we're not quite there yet. Right now for a gallon of organic milk is about $4.50. Okay, you could buy a gallon of organic milk in the year 2000 for about $1. So it's gone up about 4.5 times its value. I'm going to show you one more number on the U.S. national debt clock, and you'll kind of get where I'm going with those numbers I just gave you. Look down here. You see you see my arrow, Paul?
No.
Okay, left side, look down, money creation. Monetary base. There's $4.73 trillion in circulation increasing. Okay? It's increased 575%, the monetary base, since the year 2000, where we only had $603 billion in circulation. We just showed that the increase in the price of milk has gone up almost 5% or 500%, just like the monetary base over here. You see that? Look how fast that's increasing. Where the hell do you think food prices and gas prices are going? Because as we increase the monetary base, the buying power and the value of money is diminished. And if you look at where the monetary base was in 2000 compared to where it is now, and you look at the pricing of your regular food items and what $20 will buy you in comparison to 15 years ago, there's a strong correlation between these numbers. And look at how fast those numbers are being increased. We just watched $100,000 more since I started talking increase in the monetary base. I talked about, that was the last hangout. But I talked about you need to at least be increasing your yearly annual income by 3% just to keep up with that. Well, in actuality, as you see right there, it's actually a lot more than 3%.
It's more like 5 times.
Yeah. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely freaking incredible. And all the numbers and the reasons for everything is right there on that debt clock. Yet you could paint a pretty picture with words. Remember, propaganda, it's the weaponization of words, and that is what's being weaponized against us. Our inability to see right what's in front of your face. And that, for anybody that has a household budget, anybody that, you know, the stay-at-home mom who does the shopping, who knows what the family has each month, can look at that U.S. debt clock and see that there's something severely wrong. Why the fuck aren't people like protesting what the hell's going on there? Instead, we get bogged down in, you know, meaningless protests. You know what? If you're for or against gay marriage, I don't give a fuck. Gay marriage isn't going to destroy this country. Those numbers are. Think about it. Get your priorities right. Stop worrying about what somebody does with their fucking genitals. I'm serious. And about what's really important here is the fact that that right there is turning America into a third world country before our very eyes. And we don't realize it because of the brilliance of the media to convince us that it's something else.
But what does this have to do with wholesale real estate? It has everything to do with wholesale real estate, because wholesale real estate is one place where you can start right now creating real wealth without having to spend money, need money, etc. and so on, that can get you fast-tracked into turning your life around and building your real wealth to combat all of this crap that's going on out there in the world. And starting with your mindset, which is what we were talking about here today, and just changing some powerful words into, you know, some disempowering words into powerful words. A great place to start just by that. Wholesale real estate, another great place to start building some, you know, large sums of money that you can start making incremental advancements towards building your real wealth. But again, as I said on the other hangout, the universe is not going to give you any more money until you can handle the money that you have now. So you've got to be able to, like John says, respect the power of the dollar bills that come into your pocket every month and start doing the right thing with them. Until you start doing the right thing with them, you're never going to get more. That's the bottom line. You can come in here to wholesale real estate. Maybe you get a deal, big deal. You blow that money, you're right back where you were, is what's going to happen. So a lot of things, a lot of things,
man, a lot of things.
Compile into, you know, why we're throwing this information out here on a wholesale real estate training hangout. But with that, I'm going to throw it back over to John to put in his last word and send us out of here.
You know, if becoming aware of that information, that little piece about what the hell's really going on with the U.S. debt, if that doesn't motivate you to get out there and quit that shitty job that's paying you $10 an hour and do something to create real wealth, and then as you're doing that, you're learning how to manage your money, you're learning how to manage yourself, manage your time, I don't know what the hell else could motivate you. I mean, that's what motivates me. To be like, I don't want to be a victim to what the hell's going on right there. And we live in a world that is so interconnected that shit, honestly, It impacts our lives, yes, but it doesn't have to. We could create our own economy if we understand money, if we understand debt, and we're aware of what's really going on, and we make a conscious choice to make a difference in our lives and a difference in our own personal economies. We don't have to be a victim to that. Losers are victims, and we're winners. So with that, I will just say, oh, universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches that have been given to me at birth, through the power to control and to direct my own mind to whatever ends I may desire.
That's right. Accurate thinking.